We are all experiencing an unprecedented time in our lives right now. The level of uncertainty, anxiety, and fear can be overpowering as we learn to navigate in our new world, all doing our part, whether it be social distancing, staying home, and abiding by federal guidelines. There are so many on the front lines who are battling a war against an invisible enemy. Being on the front lines can place a person's physical and mental health in jeopardy. A team of professionals has come together and created a program called Resilient Minds on the Front Lines to bring tools, knowledge, skills, and instruction to assist in a time of need. This team is dedicated to helping those who help others. On today's webcast, our guest speakers are Dimitri Collins, captain at the Camden County Department of Corrections and Master Resiliency Trainer, and State Commander Sergeant Major of the New Jersey National Guard, Sergeant Major Earnest Williams, Jr. Dimitri and Sergeant Major Williams discuss recognizing the strength in others and how to capitalize on those strengths, as well as how important critical decision-making is in today's world. Your hosts for today's webcasts are Master Resiliency Instructor Michael Pellegrino and Dr. Kate Tumulty Felice, Professor of Education and Psychology and Coordinator of Education Programs.
Resilient Minds on the Front Lines was created to bring you 15 minutes of hope in a world turned upside down. The topics in our webcasts are all meant to help those on the front lines help themselves and others. Today, Dimitri Collins and State Commander Sergeant Major Williams help us learn how to recognize the strength in others and how to capitalize on that strength. Leaders, they say, must instill confidence in their staff and encourage attainable goals, as well as provide important feedback for their success. Be safe, be healthy, be resilient.
Hi, my name is Dimitri Collins. I'm a captain with the Camden County Department of Corrections, the author of Transitioning into Leadership, the Blueprint, a Master Resiliency Trainer with the state of New Jersey, and lastly, I'm a United States Army veteran. And I'm so pleased to have the State Command Sergeant Major of the New Jersey Army National Guard joining me today, State Command Sergeant Major Earnest Williams, Jr. Thank you so much for being my guest.
Thanks for allowing me to share my thoughts.
State Command Sergeant Major Williams is a native of Paterson, New Jersey, and has been serving in the United States Army since 1985, first as an active duty soldier and then as a National Guardsman. He has served as an ammunitions team chief, gunner, section chief, gunnery sergeant, first sergeant, and operations sergeant major, among many other titles. State Command Sergeant Major Williams served overseas in Iraq, Korea, and Germany. State Command Sergeant Major, you and I had the pleasure of meeting in Fort Bliss, Texas back in 2008 while going through mobilization training prior to deploying in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. We've had so many conversations since then about leadership and capitalizing on strengths. I personally gained so much motivation and insight from those conversations, so I would love to ask you a few questions so that you can also share your knowledge and offer some guidance to our audience.
Well, let's do it.
Okay, my first question is, what tools or practices do you use to spot strengths in others?
Great question, Dimitri. As leaders, one of our primary duties is talent management. It's recognizing the strengths in others and capitalizing on those strengths for the betterment of the individual and the organization. One of my tools is what I would call recognize the event-oriented leader. This is done by tasking future leaders to accomplish a difficult assignment while providing purpose, direction, and guidance, and then evaluating their performance.
So what you're saying is that you push your staff beyond their typical level of comfort because basically they never actually know what they're capable of until they're required to do more than usual.
Yes, exactly.
That reminds me of something that my pastor, Bishop John, says. He says that everything you need is already on the inside of you. You just have to make the demand on it in order to pull it out.
Absolutely. Sometimes people are reluctant to attempt something new due to a fear of failure. That's why it's so important, especially as a leader, to be confident, to believe in yourself, and to do your best. You might be surprised about just how much you're able to accomplish. It's also important for us leaders to instill confidence in our staff because then gives them the courage to challenge themselves as well.
Yes, I agree. Okay, next question. Once you've cultivated an environment where your staff have the opportunity to discover their strengths, how do you then inspire them to capitalize on those strengths?
One of the ways I try to inspire others to capitalize on their strengths, once they are recognized, is by encouraging them to set attainable goals and develop a plan of action to attain those goals. Their strengths will continue to be enhanced through education, training, and increased responsibilities. This will also give them an opportunity to hone skills that need some improvement. In most cases, this can be accomplished through conversation and counseling, both written and verbal.
I like that. Providing feedback is so important because sometimes offering constructive criticism is difficult for people because they don't want to see themselves as judges over others. And then on the flip side, some people hate receiving criticism about their work performance, but both are really important and necessary for growth. So let's get into what can be the most intimidating part of it all. What's at the forefront of your mind when making critical decisions, especially now with the current state of our nation, and more specifically for your role, our state?
Dimitri, critical thinking is one of our greatest pillars of leadership. In today's environment, we have to be very careful when making critical decisions. The very first thing is to think outside the box. With COVID-19 being the new type of war, we must think in a non-traditional fashion and with a more enhanced decision-making process, thinking about the impact from the top down as well as from the bottom up. So one of my key ways is to have a collaborative think tank. Having those different perspectives gives you the ability to see all sides, which enhances the effectiveness of your decision.
Yes, it's so important to consider all stakeholders when making critical decisions because sometimes we can get tunnel vision, but including the perspectives of all who will be impacted by our decision when possible helps us to arrive at the best outcome for everyone involved. State Command Sergeant Major, is there any other advice that you'd like to share with our audience today? Maybe a final thought?
Dimitri, my final thought is to say thanks to you and the entire Resilient Minds on the Frontlines team for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts. You and your team have been an inspiration to my entire organization. I'd like to leave you with a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt. A good leader inspires people to have confidence in the leader. A great leader inspires people to have confidence in themselves. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
I love that quote. My favorite quote, which I'm sure you've seen at the bottom of my email, is great leaders inspire greatness in others. Well, State Command Sergeant Major Williams, again, thank you so much for your support and for taking the time to share your knowledge with the Resilient Minds on the Frontlines team. And thank you all for watching. Be safe, be healthy, and be resilient.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kate Tumulty-Felice. I want to thank State Command Sergeant Major Williams and Captain Collins for inspiring us with their insight and experience regarding leadership. Perhaps the most important takeaway here is that true leaders seek to spot strengths in others. This is a key concept in resilience because when we spot strengths in others, we enable them and we allow them the capacity to build on their purpose and their direction and to provide them the guidance to push out of their comfort zone and to mitigate their fear of failure. This allows us, this fear of failure, which could create adversity, to push through that adversity, to bounce back, which is a key concept of resilience, even stronger than where we started. A good leader can help mitigate that fear by giving feedback and by capitalizing on those strengths. It makes us think, where am I as a leader? How can I do better? How can I encourage and seek to spot strengths in others? Whether that leadership is in our organization, in our home, or in any other capacity, we have that opportunity to seek strength in others and to build upon that for the benefit of the entire organization. This allows us to see, as they said in their insightful talk, from all sides. And there's no time more than now that seeing things from all sides is more important. To broaden our perspective, to look through a more broad lens, and to collaborate in leadership allows everybody to flourish. This allows us to be a more effective leader and to have a more effective impact on our organization, on those we lead. And it allows them to build upon their strength, thereby building upon their resilience. That allows us to help ourselves be better leaders, to help others do better in their role within their organization, within their family, whatever capacity that might be. Broadening our lens benefits everyone. Collaborating helps us build better and stronger. So we can seek to find those strengths in other people, to develop our own leadership skills, our own resilience in finding purpose, but in helping others do that as well. Pushing past their areas of discomfort and becoming better and stronger, more purposeful, and more resilient. This helps us help others. Thank you for giving us this talk and inspiring us to seek the strengths in others, to spot those strengths and build upon them in others and in ourselves. Thank you for spending this time with us today. Be safe, be healthy, be resilient.
During the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, your mental health is vital. Please see the resources listed here as well as on our website at onthefrontlines.us. You are not alone.